Hello, 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 my friends. Hey, my name's Kurt. I'm a dad who draws, and this is the daily draw. How is everyone doing? Today is Thursday. Every Thursdays during the daily draw, we always look at something that has to do with character design. And we haven't looked at hands for a little while, so I thought we would spend at least this week on looking at hands, and maybe in particular hands holding things. So yeah, we might do this for a couple weeks here because there's so many possibilities of understanding how a hand holds an object. So if you are familiar with my approach to drawing hands, I simplify. I don't know if it's simplified, but I have a method that I use over and over again, and it seems to work for me. So let's go over that method, and you could write it down, and then when you start drawing hands on your own, you can put it into practice or make some adjustments to it. So I always start off, let me start off with that. I always start off with a gesture. Okay. And then I go to palm. I draw the palm. I draw the tips of the fingers. Then I go to the knuckles. K-L-E-S. Knuckles. Is that right? Does knuckles start with a K? I think it does. And then I go to the joints. And then I go to details. Okay? So that's the order that I usually go when I approach drawing my hands. Now, the only thing that breaks down a little bit is the gesture, okay? When you get to the gesture, when we're doing the gesture, you want to think of these things. Arm, palm, fingers, and thumb. Okay? So you want to include those four things when you draw the gesture. So let's go over those as we practice drawing this hand right here, okay? And what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm just going to make this small, and we'll put it, let's do this. Let's just kind of get rid of some of that. There we go. All right. Now you can kind of reference that as we draw here. So first thing we want to do the gesture, and you want to think of the one more thing I want you to be aware of is that when you're drawing a hand, there is an active side and an inactive side to the body. What do I mean by that? Well, to the arm. The active side is going to be this part right there. All right, now you're thinking, what is that? Well, let me show you. The arm's going to come down here, and then you usually get your fingers down here, you see? So this is the inactive side, and this is the active side. And you actually will see that all the time. So if we look at our model, this picture right here, let me bring this up and just show it to you. This whole area here would be the inactive side. This here is the active side. You see that? And so it's just something to like always keep in the back of your mind as you're drawing hands, and you will start to see it more and more often, okay, as you draw them. And it's helpful because, you know, it shows contrast with the two different sides, all right? All right. And let's get rid of this as well. All right, so let's start with the gesture, and I'm holding my my pencil toward the back of it here, and we're going to come up here, and first thing I'm going to do, whenever you're drawing an object, a hand that's holding an object, you want to make sure that you're including that as well. So let's just kind of quickly gesture this. This mug, and I'm drawing from my elbow. I'm not really like doing anything with my wrist. So there is my mug. All right, so let's come up here with the arm. Arm's coming straight up. There's the keeping this light. There's the palm. All right, fingers. All right, and then the thumb. Thumb is back over here. And let's go do the other side too. So we're going to come up here with the arm. Okay, where's the arm coming? Arm, hey Geraldine, how are you? There's the arm, okay. There's the palm. Okay, now let's say fingers. We're just going to quickly put those in, and we can't see the thumb. All right, so there's our quick gesture. Really fast gesture. I'll give you a second here to get that on the page. It's cold. How cold is it where you're at right now? How cold is it? Because it's a little chilly outside. It's surely I went. It looks beautiful. It's very sunny. You know, it's so funny is every time I talk to my dad, he just wants to talk about the weather. So I truly feel like, oh, hey, come on, let's talk about the weather. All right, let's keep going. You let me know how cold it is where you're at, Geraldine. I'll run outside and see how cold it is here. Okay, so so we got our gesture down. Now let's think about our palm, and you know, this is when we are going to start to make adjustments based upon where things are lining up using vertical and horizontal alignments. All right. So let's see. Let's get our cup in here first, so we really have a good sense of what's going on with that cup. And then look at my palm. My palm's coming down here. Okay, I got to change my direction there just a bit. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Next, let me find the tips. Now, this is important. Where are the tips of the fingers on this? Well, look at this. One tip is going to be right there, and let me color them for you so you can see. There's a tip, and then we got those two tips, and of course the thumb is back here. All right. So let's put a little marker where those are going to fall. All right. So we got one going here, right? This one's going to come down a little bit. And the other pinky is going to be right about there. And then we're going to get our thumb right up there. All right. We're good there, I think. Now, one thing I could see already immediately in my drawing is that my cup is too high to where my hand is. You see that? So I'm going to have to drop the... this is the time to make adjustments to your drawing. If you see something off, right at the very beginning, this is where we've got to make adjustments. Okay, so we've got our tips down, all right? Next thing, let's think about our knuckles. Where are our knuckles? Well, we've got a knuckle right there. Then you're going to have a knuckle that's going to come right there. Knuckle down here and knuckle right there. Great. You have a knuckle back here for the thumb. Next, we look at our joints. Okay, so our first joint is going to be right here, and these are pretty much lining up pretty good all the way down to that joint for the pinky. Now we could jump in once we have those joints in place. We've made some adjustments. One last thing I do as I'm looking at my reference here, look at the bottom of the cup. Once again, I have my cup way too low there. So I'm just gonna make an adjustment there. Okay, so now with these things in place, let's go ahead now. We can start to draw out this hand here. So there's that. And if it helps, just draw them square. Don't worry about the roundness quite yet. Hey, good evening, Paris. How are you? Okay, so we get our thumb is coming back here. Now, this is interesting as I'm looking at my drawing here. Look at this angle here. That's where look at my angle. My angle's really crooked there. You see? So we need to make that adjustment. So I'm just gonna slice off the top of that hand there. Okay, let's kind of get the back. Let's get the other one in now. Okay, so we go through the same process. All right, so where are we at here? So now this is where I could start using some measurements on this. This is the bottom of it. Okay, now look at where it's lining up. It's lining up with that knuckle right there. Good. Well, I'm glad we're doing it together. I actually enjoy doing hands as well. All right, so that's where that knuckle's going to line up. So we go with palm. Okay, then we go with knuckles. So let's see, where's that first knuckle? Is going to be right there. Oh, tips. Well, let's see. The tips are hidden, so we'll just jump right to knuckles here. So knuckles, this is the next one. There's the next one right there. And there's that one there. Oop, I really got out of order there. I apologize. So palm, tips, knuckles, all right? Joints, all right, now look at this. Here's one joint there. Now look at that other one is much higher up. And then we get this smaller one here, and then we get the pinky joint back down there. Okay, let's see where this where is this? Look at that. Where is that arm lining up? Oh, it's going right through that second joint. Okay, we can make that adjustment. It's going to be somewhere right around in there. Okay. Let's go ahead and get these nice and tight now. All right, so let me erase this over here so you can kind of get a better idea what you're doing. All right, here we go. Look at this. You get this nice overlap there. Back of hand coming down. All right, we're going to keep going here. Someone keeps trying to call me here. Let me just turn that off. That will deal with that, right? All right, so we got that. They got that hand right there. All right, so let's jump over to this other one here now. And you can see it's turning the corner here, right? And you could even, if a hand turns the corner like that, you could even add a little bit of tone to it, and that's going to help you get that mass or volume to it. All right. Last thing I have to do on this is going to add a little bit of this sleeve coming down there. And then this sleeve over on this side is coming like this. All right. Let's go ahead and bring in our next picture. Okay, same process. Let's go through it together again. We're going to go with, let me do the same thing here. There it is. Okay, go through gesture, palm, tips, knuckles, joints, and then details. Let's do that. All right, starting with our gesture first. And like I said before, whenever you're drawing a hand that's holding an object, make sure you put that object in, because that kind of gives you an idea of where this where the hands are going to go. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to do arm and palm. So let's see here. All right, look at that. There's the palm way back there. Then we're going to get our fingers. Okay. Where's our thumb? Thumb is on the inside. You can't see it on that hand. All right, let's go ahead and get this other side over here. So, starting with the palm. Next, fingers. And then our thumb. All right, let's go ahead and get our object in first. So this object is turning away from us here. So let's okay. right, let's get our palm in, and we can look at the palm. Let me show you where it's at so you can see it. Palm is always has a bit of a curve to it. You see that? And then over here, it's going to also have a bit of a curve. And you can see that in relationship to the way the cup is, okay? So you can drop that down. And then over here, we got this. Oop. Oh, did I just draw on that picture? I did. Gave you a chance to get caught up there. All right. All right, next. Got our palms. Let's look where our tips. Where the tips of our fingers going. So we're going to come here. Come here. Oh, this one's at the bottom there. This one's down below there. You see that? How about the other side? Okay. Where are the tips on the other side? So there's this one here. And then this one is there. There's one coming right underneath the handle there, and there's one in the handle. And then our thumb. All right, let's take a look where our knuckles are. Knuckles are off over here. This one is in front of that one. Knuckle, 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 knuckle. Okay. All right, what about the other side there? Knuckle. Now these things, if the thing is if once you know this pattern and you start to memorize it, then you don't even need to put these marks in, because you just start visualizing where these things are going, okay? They're just guideposts to kind of let you see what's happening. And one of the point I'll make is, remember that the back side of a finger is very straight, where the underneath side is very soft. So it's one side is hard and the other side is very soft, okay? So let's get this top finger in here first. All right, next one. All right, then we get our pinky down here, right? We can jump to the other side now, and you know, I'm gonna use look at this. This middle finger here to me is key. That's that guy is like standing out more than the others. The others are following behind him. So let me put him in first, and he's gonna come in like this, and then he's gonna go down. So I'm envisioning this side here, these three fingers as one unit. And then pay attention to this too. Let me show you this. Look at this finger up here on top there. And look at the overlap. See, this little pad is overlapping all those other little elements. You want to be aware of that. So I'm going to draw him first. Okay, there's my thumb. All right, now let's get this palm in on this side here, and there's this pad going, and here's the inactive side over there, and this is the active side. And actually, let me just do something here. This little bump right there, that's the ulna, and that's showing up. Let me change my color. When you start drawing hands, you want to be aware of the ulna. If you can, it's on the pinky side. It's always right there. This little, the ulna is the bone in your arm. And she has this watch, so we could actually and then her sleeve is gonna come down here. You see this? And there you go. Two hands holding cups. And you know, the best way to I wish I had a secret for you to get better at drawing hands, but there's only, you're gonna kill me. There's only one way to get better at drawing hands. Who's gonna answer that question? It's practice. It's repetition and practice. And if it's difficult and gets confusing for you, that's why I also included this here. This a great way to practice drawing hands is drawing cartoon hands, because they've already simplified the process. So I found this and I thought I would I thought it would just do it. John says that's right. I would include these hands here because this helps you to see what's going on if it's too complicated to see in the real deal. So when it comes drawing cartoon hands, same approach, like this guy right there, right? So you would want to gesture, and your gesture is going to be arm, right? Palm, fingers, thumb there, right? And then from there, then you're going to tighten that whole thing up. But so you can see also in these hands, look, here's the inactive side. Here's the inactive side. Here's the inactive side. Inactive, 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 active, active, all right. So just remember those two things, but do it like a sage. That's right. Do it. Just do it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should go check out Shia LaBeouf. Hey, this is Kurt. I'm a dad who draws. Always good to see you guys. Keep going, okay? All right, go out there. Make your day great. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.